So when we talk about customer journey, obviously payments is a core part of it. But beyond that, I don't know if you can talk to key trends, including payments, that you see as vital for businesses when they're looking to turn browsers into buyers.
Absolutely. So there are too many trends to talk about in one small slot here today. But some of the key trends that I see in particular, the first one is the need for a unified and familiar customer experience. That's absolutely fundamental. Global payment acceptance is the second big trend that I see. And the third trend, I think that's really important, is, and often understated, is the importance of delivering real value to consumers.
I don't know if you can dive a bit into that sort of unified experience, really. So what does that mean for retailers?
Absolutely. Well, consumers, simply put, demand a unified and familiar experience. If they don't get that, the risk of abandonment is greatly increased, and that obviously has an impact on the bottom line for retailers. It's absolutely fundamental. For a retailer, we strongly recommend that you have the right partner to power that engagement, and that partner should be someone that has, I suppose, the right level of global, regional and local expertise to really support your business model. So that's absolutely fundamental for a unified and familiar experience. The next element that I would talk about is global payment acceptance. It's a key trend, and I think more important than just payments is just the familiarity and the ability to offer a familiar payment experience to a consumer. And our research indicates that 50% of consumers will actually abandon a transaction if they're not faced with their preferred payment method. So in that context, it's really clear the need to offer a global set of payment methods to your consumers. Otherwise, the risk of abandonment is self-evident. The final trend, actually, that I'd like to talk about as well is the importance of adding value to your customer. So the products that a retailer sells in their own right are clearly delivering value to the consumer. But beyond that, additional value can be given through ancillary goods and products and services. For example, gift loyalty solutions. These are also good ways to drive that customer engagement in the retail space.
So I mean, we've already seen the development of the checkout walls, for want of a better word, in spaces like sort of buy now, pay later, PayPal, and so on checkout pages. Are you seeing sort of loyalty wars emerging in terms of sort of gift wars in terms of trying to compete for the best options? Is that sort of part now of any offering fundamentally?
Absolutely. The market is all changing at the moment. I think from the talks today, it's really clear that there are a whole range of challenges across the board. Really, like we've come out of a crazy period really with the pandemic. Just when we thought that was behind us, obviously inflation. We've still got the supply chain challenges. So really, the biggest challenge that I would actually see at the moment is complexity. So in that regard, I think for a retailer, what retailers should focus on is having a single source provider that can give simplicity, I suppose, in that complex environment. There will always be technical issues, challenges, especially with the increased digitalisation that we've seen post-COVID, which has been a real positive. But there are also some risks there that need to be managed. And I think having that kind of single source provider is really key, to have a single point of contact when you need them, because the customer experience can clearly be negatively impacted if you have to contact multiple partners to resolve an issue. Downtime obviously impacts that customer experience and is something that needs to be managed and avoided.
Excellent. And before I go on to sort of asking some examples from your own experience, just think about the cost of living crisis, because obviously this is a topic which I'll be discussing on the next panel as well. Just wondering how you've seen that potentially, if that has affected how payments runs, how you consider that journey, if that is just about making sure that customers can affordability checks and that sort of more buy now pay later, but just curious from your perspective how that impacts it.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that it's a challenge for everyone. I think everyone in the room, is very aware of inflation and cost of living. I think maybe one example from our experience actually here in the UK, one of our clients in the retail space, Asda, during COVID and the lockdowns associated, needed to provide, using our gift card technology, provided school meal vouchers to families, so 3 million families, all based purely on an email address, which really increased. It was very simple technology, very simple solution to deliver those gift cards to all those families, 3 million, and basically, was a real community success and a great benefit to those recipients, and something that we're truly proud of that we were involved in.
Excellent. And I don't know if there are any other sort of post-pandemic examples of your work that you're particularly sort of proud of that you can sort of point to in regards to this journey?
Yeah, absolutely. So innovation is something that's key in our fintech space. And one of the products that we have is our soft point of sale solution. So soft POS or pin on glass technology is something that's really, really exciting, and something that both increases benefits to retailers, reduces costs to retailers, reduces friction for consumers, and basically what it does is it allows transactions be accepted all on an Android device. So it turns an Android device, phone or tablet into a contactless payment terminal, and it's something that we see the market continuing to evolve towards, and reducing the need for physical points of sale. And I think it touches on the sustainability topics that were talked about earlier in the session today.
Excellent. So it's fair to say for you, point of sale really does fit into that journey. That is a core part of the package essentially.
Absolutely, absolutely. So the customer experience is very broad. It's broader than just the transaction. It's the whole end to end, from point of sale, whether it's physical, face to face, in store, online, all the way through to settlement, reporting, reconciliation, and value added services.
Excellent. And yeah, so just to return to loyalty, I mean, sort of what sort of trends are you seeing emerging in that space? Are there sort of particularly interesting innovations that have emerged post-pandemic in loyalty or rewards?
Yeah, again, I think as discussed earlier today with some of the previous contributors, loyalty is key, and I think what's really important is to really focus on the segment that you're targeting, to really kind of drive engagement with your target audience, basically, and to make it easy for the consumer. It's important they know the value, the financial value, the benefit of any rewards that they're gaining, to really drive that repeat engagement. From a social media point of view, it's really important to make it easy, that they can publicise and market they're moving to the next level of the rewards programme, so that basically your brand gets that broad recognition online.
Excellent. And just in terms of complexity, I know you said complexity is sort of the biggest challenge. I don't know if you can point to any of the others which are sort of hurdles to adoption of this unified journey.
Yeah, I think obviously the market is very, very competitive today. There are many players that can offer certain components of that journey. But I think it's the end to end. What you want is a true unified experience, as we touched on earlier, end to end. And I think that's one of the really key things. So having that unified end-to-end experience, and ideally having a single provider that can provide that from start to finish.
Excellent. I think we'll open up for questions in a couple of minutes, but just before, just on payments. I know we've sort of seen this profusion of things like buy now, pay later. We're seeing, I think Revolut has launched its Revolut Pay, there's PayPal. Just curious sort of what you're seeing is around trends in terms of demands for this kind of different aspects, and do you have any predictions? Do you see any taking particular market share, or is it too early to say sort of who were the winner in these?
Yeah, as we touched on, the market is always changing. the likes of buy now, pay later have had a massive explosion over the last couple of years, but obviously more recently there have been challenges, as you well know from your publications. It's a really interesting time for so many reasons. You look at crypto, you look at what's happening in that space as well. So it's really difficult to say. It's very much, I think, a watching brief, and it's just important to really see how the market plays out. But it's certainly a really interesting time at the moment. That's for sure.
Are you seeing much demand for crypto in terms of payment, or stable coins even, or?
It's something that comes up all the time, but I think I think there is a way to go. It's something that's as I said, it's a watching brief at the moment. The market is changing so much. It's something that's constantly coming up in conversations, but like it's very much like buy now, pay later, I would say.
Okay, so regulatory, that'll sort of be a key.
Yeah, that is, I suppose, a tailwind, let's say, a headwind in that regard. There's no doubt that increasing regulation will pose a challenge and additional overhead, no doubt about it.
Excellent. Open the floor to any questions from the audience at this point. Has anybody's got? Sorry, somebody over there.
I'm just curious on, in the context of loyalty, what your opinion is around NFTs and the use of retail and loyalty rewards.
So the question was around NFTs?
NFTs, yeah, used in the context of loyalty, and whether you think it's a fad or a value add.
Well, it's a very interesting one that very much we're watching at the moment. Exactly how NFTs are going to play out, it's hard to say. It certainly could be something that could play into it. I think what's important is to have a loyalty solution that is, I guess, flexible, that gives you the capabilities should the market go that way. So I do think NFTs have a way to go. But certainly something to watch over time, because it is definitely an evolving space at the moment.
Somebody else on the table. It's on the table. Yeah. So you don't own any NFTs, I'm assuming.
No.
Hi, Megan from Southpole. I'm just wondering if you had any insights into sustainability in terms of merchants that you're onboarding, or kind of any trends that you're seeing in payments.
Yeah, absolutely. So I suppose from a sustainability point of view, and I know that's a key theme from the session today, some client use cases that we have would be electronic vehicle charging, for example, and the requirement to pay for that service for that vehicle. So that's just a really obvious, simple use case that we're really keen to support. The example where I talked about our soft point of sale product, our Android device, which is a contactless payment terminal, that's another great example, because that removes the need for a physical piece of kit, physical piece of hardware. It's using an existing device that the retailer has, so it's much more sustainable from that point of view.
Any other questions from the audience at this time? I don't know, actually, to just return to sustainability, if there are other sort of aspects of that you are. So I've heard the environment, the electric vehicle charging is a really interesting one. Are there other sort of...
Yeah, I think another interesting use case, pivoting slightly away from that, is unattended terminals or self-service kiosks. That's something that we're seeing increasingly growing in the retail space. So, for example, our research would indicate that 40% of consumers actually would prefer to pay at a self-service kiosk rather than at a contact or human-based point of sale. So that's a really interesting use case. So I suppose, again, from a retail point of view, your provider really needs to be able to cover that unattended terminal use case, as well as the face-to-face and online use cases. So one of our clients, Selecta, here in Europe, we've supported them to roll out in 16 different markets using our unattended terminal solution, and we have a great set of APIs that we use to support that. Via terminal monitoring to maintain their standard of service.
And when you're in terms of the sort of that demand that's higher than I expected, actually, is that something which you've seen really change through the pandemic, or has that been just general people just quite happy to use machines alone?
Yeah, I mean, I think COVID has definitely accentuated some trends that were there already. So that's definitely part of it. That's definitely part of it. But no, it certainly is an interesting statistic. No doubt about it.
Any, just again, if there's any questions from the audience, there's a microphone. Just thank you.
How do you kind of strike the balance between all these new innovative ways of paying, whether it's with your face, your voice, new terminals, etc., with security, and the fact that in recent years consumers have been really, really stressed about payment details being shared? Hacks are, can happen in a second, and suddenly all your details are instantly shareable. How do you strike that balance between innovation and ensuring that all of our details are secure and looked after?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's really important, and I think ensuring, firstly, compliance with all the regulations, the data privacy regulations, GDPR, Schrems 2, etc. All really fundamental. Obviously, cybersecurity, ensuring that your cybersecurity policies are up to scratch, that you're doing your regular testing, security scanning, all really important. And then for any new products that you launch, it's really important that you go through the process, through exercises with the security labs, etc. All really to give that confidence that the data of consumers and merchants indeed is protected. It's really important.
I think we have time for just one more very quickly, I think. If there's anybody else.
Hi there, it's Pippa from Bazaar Voice. I was just wondering, in terms of the end-to-end customer journey, is there any tools that you're finding brands and e-commerce particularly are you having on the website to encourage that conversion before we get to payments, etc.?
So sorry, the question was, are there any tools
Are there any other sort of tools and solutions that you're finding brands are using at the moment to encourage customers to stay on that website and convert there and then?
Sure. Yeah, so I think from our point of view, we power the merchant. So the merchant will integrate their website into our technology. So the merchant will definitely integrate various tools on their side, as you say, to kind of support that customer engagement. And then once the transaction comes to us, we can then take it from there, process the transaction all the way through to clearing, settlement and reporting, and then we can provide those value-added services as well, in addition to the actual just the pure payment processing, if you like.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Brian. It's been a real pleasure, and it's been extremely useful. So I think that's
brilliant. Thanks, Ian. Great to get the opportunity to talk to the room today about optimising the customer journey. And yeah, the Cara from Fiserv team is here. Our table is just outside the door. So if you'd like to come over and have a chat, we're here all day. Thank you.
a pleasure. Thank you.